Okay, so I want to get across this very simple idea that the NARC abuser is, first of all, the first one that was subject to NARC abuse, and they've garnered this adaptation because they've died inside, and what's left is this NARC system that they've adopted. Um, every NARC abuser is primarily an abusee of narc abuse, and also when they're giving out the abuse, they're also being subject to the abuse again. If anything, they're being stuck in a trauma cycle. You know, trauma is when you feel something, you respond inappropriately to something that's happening. You respond in an inappropriate manner because some memory from the past or some kind of action in the past is influencing this present moment. Even though they're divorced, you're not in the present moment reacting appropriately. You're reacting inappropriately. So these narcs are reacting inappropriately to events that are happening because of the trauma that they received as a childhood, and so they're going through narc abuse again. And hey, do you think us, made in the image of God, loving creatures, enjoy giving narc abuse to others? Do you think we enjoy being predatory, being unloving, being closed up, being gaslighting, being with the father of lies and stuff, sinning, which is bringing us to death? Do you think we like it? That's enjoyable? That's in itself, they are part of the abuse, right? They are the freaking the crying out of the ultimate. I mean, so it's like, yeah, I'm a narc abuse survivor. That guy that's giving you, or that girl that's giving you that narc abuse, is a better survivor than you are, a huger survivor, and it's your job to pity them. And they're funny, after all. Once you realize what and who they are, they're kind of just a bit funny. So really, we need to stop getting so antsy and up pantsies about these guys, about being narc survivors. Just understand that they use a form of adaptation to survive in the world. They were kind of forced into it, and accept them and love them. When they start pushing their narc message on you, and they start telling you, oh, you gotta feel crap about yourself, oh, you gotta just be like, "Lo, yeah, I don't need that. I got my reasons for why I do stuff. I don't need that narc system in here." But just love them and care for them nonetheless. Water is given and sun is given to the wicked and the good. If you have the wheat and the tare analogy, God tells us, do not uproot these similes to productive wheat. Do not uproot them yourself, because you may be uprooting the good wheat as well, but allow it to be uprooted by the Master, by the Lord, in its correct season, and He will cast the tares into the fire and cast the wheat into the barn in the season. Just wait for the season to finish, and God is working in that person. God is working in you. Allow the bad elements of the soul to be harvested, and allow the good elements of the soul to be passed on into eternal life. So here's an example. In my narc relationship right now, which, God gives me authority to trample over serpents. Thank God for the internet, that we get all the information about what the hell a narc is. Just like, a disease or whatever. Once you know what it is, you can understand it, overcome it, and don't have that damn fear that you have anymore, right? So with my situation, we've got this, they're kind of, it's a mimicking of their family relationship, right? And so what we have in the family relationship is the mother has this super strong desire for a male child, so that they make loads of money. And so what you have in the relationship is the mum does basically nothing while the dad works so much. But what happened is that they had 6 girls. So, it's kind of like God being like, ha, joking around. And what happens is that the girl that has all the inheritance of the family, which is the youngest in this culture, she is now integrated with my narc, and is now taking on the role of wife, essentially, is taking on the role of the mother, while the husband, or even the child, is the role of my narc, essentially. And so, but it's just not sustainable, because what this woman is going to do is take a role of passivity and not earning, while the role of my narc will be of earning and stuff like that. And so when it comes down to it, eventually, it's just not gonna last. It just can't last because it doesn't make sense. If I'm earning, and I'm her husband, and I'm, you know, who I am, which is her husband, and it just doesn't make sense for her to continue in this narc system if it's not profitable. The problem is that it has been profitable so far. Even though she's losing loads of money feeding back into the system, it's been profitable. So the only thing you have to do is make it not profitable, which isn't uprooting anybody else, but making yourself into a highly profitable being, and then what will be uprooted will be uprooted. So yeah, and you got to allow them to really soak into that system, to really soak into, I'm not earning a penny and you're doing everything, and this is how you've been trained, you know. And then the light and fire inside them that understands right and wrong and justice and injustice gets all fired up, and they want to get this person out in the end, particularly as they've got their husband that loves them, that's earning twice as much and has a better place. And you know, it's like, it's just, if they're even staying in their narc vision, they can't maintain that anymore. They have to choose the higher earning thing so that they could then use those resources to give back to the family. So it's like, you don't have to go in and uproot stuff with your convincing logic and stuff. You just allow God to do it, and that means you follow the logical chain and you understand what you're dealing with. And your job as well isn't to uproot the narc. Your job is to understand and love and forgive, and let God do all of that, and have a graceful and merciful and glorious life, allowing him to work through you. It's really funny as well because communication is lacking in a narc relationship, right? So if you got two familial narcs, you know, coming together under this familiar spirit of the narcissism, they are freaking so bad at communicating. Like, they just kind of don't do it. They just leave them, you know, just doing their own kind of thing. It's kind of funny. Because on the flip side, if you're a communicative person and you're communicating with this one narc, and then this one's just going off and doing that thing, it's like, you communicate, you understand, and then you freaking, you know, it's like, they can easily be taken away from this parallel dynamic, and that's just from logic, because they're connecting and they're stronger or whatever. It's not actually a manipulative tactic to steal them away. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be uprooting. You don't want to be stealing away. You want to be winning souls for Jesus, and then whatever comes from that is a good thing, whether that's separation or not. If anything, it can stay while it's in parallel, and you can then convert this one because they're looking over and seeing what's going on, whatever. So yeah, it's kind of funny. So we're you know, in bed, and it's like, wow, this is the bed where dreams come to die. You know, she's telling me get off the computer, she's telling me don't do this, don't do that, just all the controlling stuff, and I'm like, oh, you know, it's so sad. You know, then she's like, you have to, all day, you have to think about how terrible you are, okay? And I'm like, I'm not gonna subscribe to your narc system, sorry, little kiddo. You know, and just giving her kisses all over, like, poor little lady. Because that's what she has to live through. She has to do a job she hates, to provide for a life that doesn't fulfill her, and be leeched off the whole time. And it's so tragic, you know. And so, going in ignorance into this relationship, I became the freaking passive one that's leeching off her, right? And so that is the wrong thing to do. That is joining into the narc system, right? You've got to be giving and overabundant, and watering and feeding and just all that stuff, and just full, and that way you're not feeding into the narc system. You're your own full person, and you are sharing your path with another, and just allow them to go through their path. It doesn't lead to anything good. It's not convincing and great for them. It's not. It's dead, and they got to sleep in the bed that all their job is paying for, the job that they can't stand, you know. And you're living a full, beautiful life, just trusting in Jesus in every moment, and just being blessed in every single regard, and just free. And that is available for them to choose once they freaking choose it, once they choose the path, once they choose the logical thing to do, which is so difficult to not actually do, particularly, you know, if you've known this person, you know that they're exceptional. They're choosing this logical path of the narcissism because it works. They can try it and they can test it and it works to get X, to get a 10%, to get a 30%, right? But what they can be getting is 100%. When I met this narc, I asked her if she knows the difference between making love with your husband and fornicating, and she said, yeah, I do, and making love with your husband is better. Boom, that's it. They can follow the logical chain. They know it. They understand it. And if they know that making love with the husband is better in all regards, because that's the holiest, highest thing, they're going to know what the holiest, highest thing, they're going to know that it's better than a lower, profane thing, which is what, for the most part, they got. And they will choose it in the end if it's available to them. Give them a husband that they can make love with, and they will choose the husband to make love with, right? But, you know, retract the husband, don't give it to them, convince them into staying in a pseudo husband relationship, and it's just never going to work. And you actually deserve the abuse that you're going to receive. You deserve it because you're not hitting it. You're not hitting it well. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.